interesting that like Trump would fire him or want him fired because he's critical of Trump.
He just insulted his bosses. Like, what is this guy?
Well, he does have power.
Whack him.
Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks was a guest on Abby Phillip's show on CNN, where she went up against a panel that included MAGA moron Kevin O'Leary. The topic of conversation was cancel culture and Donald Trump's thin skin. We're going to take a look at these clips from CNN with Ana Kasparian and Kevin O'Leary. I have my thoughts to share on this as well. Let's get into it together.
Donald Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings." Go yourself.
I think the real question is, should the president of the United States be picking and choosing people who should have jobs based on whether they say nice things about him or not?
No, he got fired before Trump said a word. 46.2.
Actually, Trump
Abby,
called for his firing
with a very simple explanation.
Okay, let me respond to what you said. Trump called for his firing last fall, just to be clear.
Let's talk about what actually happened. $46.2 million in losses on a franchise that's 40 years old. It's old, it's dead, and unfortunately for all of the category, people are geometrically not watching late night TV anymore. Here's the problem for Colbert. His contract is a payout contract through a transaction where there's a change of control. Only a moron would tell the president to F off before he gets his check, okay? So what's going to happen now, in my opinion, is tomorrow, CBS, his boss, will fire him, and they will litigate for the next 5 years his payout.
Fire who? Stephen Colbert?
So now you're saying,
this guy.
Oh, no.
So now you're saying they're really going to fire him for saying mean things about the president?
I want to go back to something.
He will never get his check.
Now at this point, he said the gloves are off. He's slamming his own bosses for their decision to cancel his show.
That's not very funny. That's the problem with him. He's not funny. And by the way, if the CBS bosses don't want to whack him, I'll do it for them. I'd fire that guy in 4 seconds if I were running the show there. Gone. And then let him litigate for his cash if he's worth 20, 30, 40. Let him wait 12 years through litigation and hire his own lawyers.
Kevin O'Leary calls Stephen Colbert a moron, and he said at the beginning of this segment that viewers are geometrically not watching. What does that even mean? And in terms of Stephen Colbert criticizing his own network, this is something that David Letterman did all the time. First, when he was on NBC, he would make fun of NBC all the time about how they were cheap and all these various different things about NBC and the executives. And then when he went to CBS, he did the same thing. So this is a joke that goes back decades and decades. Stephen Colbert is just following up on David Letterman, what he did. But Kevin O'Leary is probably too dumb to know that.
That guy is dumb.
Do you know where Stephen Colbert came? It is interesting that like Trump would fire him or want him fired because he's critical of Trump.
He just insulted his bosses. Like, what is this guy?
Well, he does have power.
Whack him.
He does have power. He does have power in this equation because he knows that he is the public face of this network. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who runs CBS. Okay, no one knows. But everybody. Right. But everybody knows Stephen Colbert. And I do think that he's exercising a certain degree of power here by basically saying, I know that this audience is on my side. He's saying what he thinks.
He's playing the victim. And
that's what Trump does. He is a victim of Trump's thin-skinned behavior. Like, he is a victim of that.
Well, wait a minute. Stephen Colbert came to prominence in 2006 when he went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and he trashed George Bush to his face and broke protocol for what the comedians are supposed to do at that event. This is just him repeating the same trick over and over.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Great. Well, he's going to find out exactly how many people want to watch it, but it'll be at a much lower salary.
Okay, that's fine. But you know what? The point is, the bigger point is that Whatever CBS does, I don't agree with their decision, by the way, and I do know who the president of CBS is, but I do think that the president of the United States should butt out of this. And the reason why I wanted to bring this back to you is because Steve and I used to work together on CNBC. And the one thing he used to always say is that the president, back when Obama was the president, should never pick winners and losers. But this guy does nothing but pick winners and losers. I want you to stand up to him the way you stood up to Obama.
Trump was responding to after he was fired, but Trump isn't the one who got him fired.
Okay, all right. And as I said, Trump called for this firing many months ago.
You don't get canceled. That's all.
Thank you, Stephen. All right.
And Ana Kasparian is spot on when she says that Stephen Colbert is just responding to Donald Trump being thin-skinned. We've never seen anybody in national politics who is more thin-skinned than Donald Trump. We've never seen anybody who's as big a crybaby as Donald Trump is. And all of his MAGA followers are crybabies. You know, imagine, they talk about George W. Bush here, that Stephen Colbert made fun of George W. Bush to his face. This is George W. Bush who loved, his daughters have talked about how much he loved Will Ferrell's portrayal of him on Saturday Night Live. His dad, George H.W. Bush, loved Dana Carvey's portrayal of him so much that he invited him to the White House and they became friends. Compare that to Donald Trump, who has talked openly about how NBC should lose their license because they make fun of him on Saturday Night Live, has been calling for Stephen Colbert to get fired, is praising the fact that Howard Stern's show is getting canceled after Donald Trump used to go on his show all the time and say all kinds of horrible things about women. He's called for Jimmy Kimmel to get fired. And all of these so-called conservatives, the MAGA people like Kevin O'Leary, they're the people who are always talking about cancel culture and freedom of speech. But now they want people like Stephen Colbert to be fired because they criticize their God King. It would be funny if there weren't such real world ramifications of all of this. You know, my entire lifetime, we've had comedians and writers and filmmakers and whoever able to openly make fun of politicians, including the President of the United States, without having to worry about any kind of real backlash until now. So this thin-skinned idiot who is our president is now calling for essentially anybody who criticized, he was mad about South Park making fun of him. Could you imagine Barack Obama or Bill Clinton whining and crying about comedians and cartoons making fun of them? No, because they were actual men and not man babies like Donald Trump and the man baby morons who support Donald Trump like Kevin O'Leary. This is a short one today, but I wanted to get this one out there because I can't stand Kevin O'Leary. The guy's a moron. It's amazing to me that he's gotten to the heights that he has gotten to, because I really would be surprised if this guy can tie his own shoes. Fortunately, he's rich, so he can pay somebody else to do it. But let me know what you think about this. Are you on board with this kind of cancel culture that MAGA creeps like Kevin O'Leary are calling for? He's saying, he'd whack this guy because he dared to make fun of his bosses on a comedy show where that's one of the bits that they've done for decades? Or do you agree with Ana Kasparian and even Abby Phillip, the host here of this CNN show, that this is ridiculous? This is not what a president should be doing, concerning himself with what comedians are saying on television and trying to get them canceled and taken off of the air. Let me know what you think about all this, about Kevin O'Leary, Ana Kasparian, anything else that you want to comment on. I'm Chris on Culture, and I will see you in the next video.